So this is a small claims case in front of the fabulous Judge Webster out in Kansas. The Beckmans are suing their veterinarian for failing to inform them that their dog had tested positive for a parasitic infection. It took about 2 weeks for her to let them know. They took the dog elsewhere, got the dog treated, the dog is healed, everything is fine. They don't have actual damages. It's more emotional. What could have happened is what their premise is. So it's a little interesting. Hope you enjoy.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Beckman, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we will be on the record now in 2023 SC 16. Bill Beckman and Joyce Beckman, plaintiffs appearing in person and pro se, defendants in the counter petition, versus Michaela Sundgren, DVM, El Dorado Animal Clinic, appearing in person and pro se. She is the plaintiff in the counter petition. This is 2023 SC 16. Would all three of you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear the testimony you're going to give herein shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Your Honor.
Okay, all right, thank you. You've all taken an oath and sworn to tell the truth throughout these proceedings. We will start with Mr. Beckman's petition and Ms. Beckman's. This is a small claims petition, and you indicated in your paperwork that you're seeking $4,000 in judgment plus interest and costs. You say that the veterinarian, here's what it says literally, veterinarian incompetence by failing to notify us in a timely manner that our dog tested positive for Giardia, thereby endangering her health and exposing us to this infectious disease. So who's primarily going to testify here?
or both, but I should go first.
Okay, go ahead. Remember, you are under oath.
Yes.
Please proceed.
I should probably start from the beginning, from the first time I went to this veterinary clinic, because it's detrimental to the case. I believe so. I originally went there, and it was the first time, you know, and I thought it was kind of odd at first because I never got to see the vet. Usually when you go see a veterinarian, you know, for the first time visit, you see a veterinarian. I was told by the tech, oh no, you don't see the vet the first time. Okay. So then we were, you know, we had a lot of questions and answers, and we were given I said, well, what about the parasite? Let's test for parasites, you know, worms and stuff like that. They said, oh, well, the tech told me we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that because this, I think that the name of the drug is Bravacto or something like that. It kills everything. It kills everything. So we don't have to do that. Well, that didn't register with me too good. I kept thinking about that in my mind because I have a little medical background too. And I said, you know, that don't make no sense. But I asked her a couple more times during the conversations because we had another thing, and it said, okay. So after it was all done, you know, and we did everything, we went, and I found out later, I thought everything was okay, but I felt a little uncomfortable. And then whenever I got home, I looked and checked on some things, and there was three things. I can't think of all of the things off the top, but they were not detrimental to my dog's health, but they had something to do with the chip. They had my name spelled wrong, you know, and a bunch of stuff. So I said, right there, my gut told me, okay, this veterinary clinic, I don't want to go back to, because if they're going to mess with that, they're going to screw up on my dog and something's going to happen. So let's see, I followed up. I wrote a nice letter saying to the veterinarian why I would not come back. So I went, I believe it was the next day or the day after, and I had a letter all ready to go. It was sealed in an envelope. So I went into the vet clinic to give it to the vet. Remember, I don't even know what this vet looks like. I never seen her. So I went to the front desk and said, I have a letter for the vet. And one of the gals there said, oh, the next thing you know, the office manager comes back. Her name's Andrea. And I tell her I have a letter for the vet. She goes, anyway, we went to the back room. And I told her, you know, some of the screw ups and mess ups or whatever you want to call them. And we went over them. And, you know, she did apologize. She apologized more than once. She said, we dropped the ball on this, but we're human. I said, yeah. She says, well, okay. So we went over the thing that went wrong with the computer. I don't know. There was a chip. There was a name. There was a couple other things. But like I said, none of it was detrimental to the pet's health. And she told me, Andrea said, she just, you know, I thought we got along pretty good. She said, please give us a second chance. She said, I wasn't there that day. I wasn't there that day. And these girls, they're going to have a talking to because I trained them. She says, I trained them. And I guess they're not getting the training. And I asked her again, I said, doesn't the veterinarian see the pet, right? The first visit? And they go, no. Oh, no. Excuse me. She says, yes. They see the veterinarian, usually always the first visit, but I wasn't there that day. So that covered that visit. And, you know, she just, again, I believe she said, when we went out to the back, I gave her some dog food. I did, you know, and, you know, I thought everything was good. She said, I hope you give us a second chance, you know. So I went home, I slept on it, I thought about it. I said, okay. So then we had an appointment for another follow-up, you know, for, you know, whatever the follow-up was, I guess for another checkup, because she's a puppy.
And one of the shots.
Had one of the shots. And yeah, I think it was anyway, you can, okay. I gotta get my thoughts together. It's all in my head. I don't have to take notes. So when I went back for that follow-up visit, I brought my wife. She came with me. But before I did, nobody told me to take a stool sample. I did that on my own. So I took a stool sample with me because I said when I went to the front desk, because I want her tested for parasites. Something doesn't sound right. And my dog, I don't know. She's not eating right, but she's a puppy. So I don't really know. You know, she's not eating right. She's not really drinking that good, but she's still a puppy, new to me. But I had seen her eating, you know, it's kind of, anyway, to make me feel more comfortable. So I didn't hear anything back, you know, after that. You know, the rest of the visit seemed to go okay. You know, the vet was okay, you know, I mean, she addressed my concerns, you know, of course, I didn't know, you know, what's normal for my puppy. Yeah, I still don't, you know, I mean, I'm learning more now. I mean, certain things a vet will tell you, some things won't. I mean, veterinarians know to tell you usually, or most common people will tell you that, oh, never give a dog chocolate. But have you ever heard of a veterinarian never tell you to give a dog a grape? But one grape can kill a dog. Okay, that's neither here nor there, but that's a fact. So I didn't hear nothing back after that visit. And I thought it was kind of odd. How long does this take? How long does this take? How long does this take? So I think it was it the 24th of, what was the date?
They got the results back on the 24th.
No, forget the results. I submitted the results that day. I mean, not the results, but I gave that specimen, but I never heard nothing back. So that morning, I think it was July 6th, I called and made a phone call early in the morning. And I got a nice gal on the phone. And I told her, have you had the results of that test? She says, I believe you do. I'm not sure, but I'll go in the back. I'll write a note right now and I'll go back. I'll get back with you within just like 2 or 3 minutes. Well, 2 or 3 minutes turned into 10. I never heard nothing back. And I wanted to take my dog, out in the country. I take care of some land out there. It's an hour one-way drive. So I figured, okay, I'll take my dog out, and I took her out in the woods. I thought something was off. She's really a spunky little thing. She's a pup. She has a lot of energy. She's a hunting dog. And I said to myself, this isn't right. She's not hardly drinking. And I became, really, really concerned then. I said, I don't know. So I get in my car, I take her back, and I asked my wife, I called the wife. I said, did they call you yet? Did they tell you? No, I haven't heard anything. I believe she called. She can verify. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I know. And I called again. I'm on my way home. I call on my phone. I said, the results of that test, this is Mr. Beckman, or something like that. I said, I'd like to know the results of that stool test. And I guess I got a different gal. I don't know these gals' names. She told me, and she says, she says, that's being handled by another gal, and she's on the phone right now, she says, but she's just about ready to hang up. I'll have her call you right back within 2 minutes max. I said, okay, that's fine. She hung up. I never heard boo. I'm about halfway home. I called again. And I said, I want to speak to the office manager. Well, Andrea picked up, the office manager. And right off the bat, she tells me, she says, oh, your dog has, I believe it was Giardia. And I go, oh man, because for puppies, that's bad. Maybe a dog can survive, but she's a puppy. That's not good. Puppies. So right away, it hit me right in the gut. And I go, wow, that explains all this stuff. And then she goes on to say, okay, I don't think you're a fit for this clinic. She was trying to read me this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, what? You're telling me the day I'm trying to get answers from my dog for Giardia, or not Giardia, for what if the parasite test came back positive or not. You're telling me the test came back positive, and now you're telling me you're just gonna throw me away, find another vet. We don't think you're suited for us. It's like, okay, I guess I know more than the vet. I'm smarter, because remember, the vet never ordered that test. I did. So she did say, okay, the veterinarian, or we will cover a little medication until you find another vet, blah, 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 blah. Well, I didn't want nothing to do with this vet anyway. So the letter, you can see the letter, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But later on in the evening, when we talk to the vet, it's like, oh, so you're gonna take me to small clinic, so I'm not gonna give you that medication. That tells me that's spite. That's spite. I used to work with surgeons for a living, surgeons. And if they ever did that, I don't believe they would ever do it. I would never know. But I think if a surgeon would do that, or say, okay, I'm going to sue you, but I'm not going to give your child that medication today because you're going to take me to court. You're going to have to find another doctor. I don't think that would go over too good with the board. I really don't. But that's me. I mean, I'm not a doctor.
So we do have a limited time.
Okay. Yes,
so
ma'am.
Tell me, please, what happened between that call and now that brings you to court? Anything else?
I quick went down because Andrea told me that she had all the paperwork and everything. So I quick, it upset me. I mean, I had to quick get my dog. I had a sick dog. I have a sick dog right with me. Mm-hmm. So I quick went in there. I said, where are the paperwork? Where's the stuff? Quick, I don't know. One of the gals, quick, they got it. And I said, I'm out of here. I'll see you in court. And I left. And I had to hustle around to quick find me another vet. Luckily, I found a really good vet. It was a godsend. And he right away put her on some good medication, and he checked her all over physically and everything, you know. So,
And is
and
she fine now? Did she survive okay?
yes, ma'am, she seems to be doing really well. Thank
I'd
you.
like to add a couple of things if I
No.
may.
Okay,
First of all,
You need to sit in this chair.
now
I don't see her,
Joyce
I don't see her now.
Oh,
You're Joyce Beckman, right?
Yes,
Okay, you're part of the plaintiff.
what I want to flesh out is that I also emailed the office around that time. They had the results on June 24th. We didn't find out until July 6th. Now, I have had Giardia before myself in the 90s, and I was very, very sick. Now, Dr. Sundgren may tell you it's not the same thing in puppies as it is in adults. Regardless, I was sick enough to be hospitalized and was extremely ill. I took the same medication that they give for puppies and dogs for Giardia. It's very rough on the system. In the meantime, she had Giardia, and I had an aggressive place with her, and she bit me accidentally. And it was a pretty bad bite, so I went in for treatment. And because I'd had Giardia before, and because the puppy did have Giardia, I was putting the exact same drug. All of this could have been prevented if she had told us when the result came in. It came in the 24th, and we didn't find out about it till the 6th. I asked for $4,000 simply because I don't know a dollar figure to put on this. My husband is a disabled veteran, a service-connected disabled veteran. He has this dog certified by his psychiatric provider as an emotional support animal. I can't put a price tag on an emotional support animal for my husband. So I don't know what to ask for. Yeah, and I was on the same medicine for the same thing, and it was very, very harsh on me too. Yeah, because I told her I got bit. I fleshed out this whole story. So that's pretty much what I have to add to it, and that's our case.
Okay, I wanted to wait till after he testified before I gave you this information because it kind of changed the way I looked at the case. So, Giardia, Giardia, it's a parasitic infection, but it just causes diarrhea in dogs. And it's caused by an intestinal parasite, and it's found in contaminated soil, food, or water. And many dogs don't show signs of infection at all. Younger dogs, dogs with weakened immune system, may experience symptoms, but the symptoms are diarrhea or watery stool, abdominal discomfort. It's not a deadly disease like parvo, where it is very hard to treat and super expensive to treat. This is, here, take a pill, watch, don't let them get in contaminated stuff. The same way you would treat if the dog had roundworms. So it kind of made me look at it a little bit different because, yeah, the vet should have told him sooner. It probably wasn't the best thing, but his reaction was a little bit over the top. Granted, I probably would have done the same thing because I would have anxiety. I would be freaking out thinking the dog had cancer when actually it was just a lump of fat in her chest. Yeah, that was me. But him, I kind of understand. Another thing is if they would have actually presented some form of expense that was resulting from the treatment of the dog at the other veterinary clinic, like, hey, I had to go do this and it cost me this much more money because of the treatment, but it seems like the treatment was the treatment and the dog had it before he went to them. So they didn't really have any monetary damages that they could ask for. It was emotional distress. And yeah, the vet didn't do the right thing, but she didn't cause actual damages.
So how did you come up with 4,000? Just because that's the small claims limit?
That's the limit, and Your Honor, I didn't know what to ask for, so that's what I
I
put,
should jump
4,000.
in. I should say something.
Yes, please do.
Your Honor, most people, including all the vets that I've been to in Kansas so far, which isn't very few, and I haven't met one single person that even knows my dog breed. They don't even have it on their roster. She's got pedigree. She dates back way, way back. Even George Washington, I think he had one of these dogs for a hunting dog. I know Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy, the big hunter, he hunted with his sons. So a lot of people don't know about these dogs, but it's big in the South. That's probably why they don't know about it in Kansas. I had to go to Texas to get my dog. My dog's got world-class champion backgrounds. She's just not any dog. It's hard to replace a dog like that. I mean, I don't know how you put a price tag on a dog. You don't put a price tag on your kid. I don't know how you put a price tag on this particular puppy.
Yeah, and she survived, but it wasn't thanks to Dr. Sundgren. Not thanks to her.
Okay, thank you, folks. I understand where you're coming from now. Dr. Sundgren, if you want to respond to, first of all, there's a case, and then support your case against them with your testimony, please.
Well, I am sorry that their dog was sick. I was never aware that their dog was sick in any of our interactions. I think that protocol was followed pretty standard with this case. As you can see, they were not very happy with us as a vet clinic, and we were processing their records to mail those to them so that they could seek care elsewhere. I did get their results that it antigen tested positive with Giardia, which is not correlated with clinical signs always. And it is not even recommended to treat an antigen test positive if they don't have any ova or clinical signs. And where I did not know that there was clinical signs, I didn't feel there was a reason to treat. I have their records right here where we did ask at both of their appointments, how's your dog's energy level? Normal. Is your dog eating? Yes, normal. Any coughing, vomiting, diarrhea, which would be some symptoms, blood in the stool, all of those were normal. So I don't think that there would have been any reason to treat the animal not knowing that there were any clinical signs. And we did prepare their records in a timely manner. Records can take 5 to 7 business days to put together, especially with a letter that we had to send releasing them as a client, because we've never had to do that before. We've never encountered that situation where we had to let a client take their records and leave, because we've never had someone who was so aggressive with us before. So it was new territory for us, but we did complete that in a fairly timely manner.
So when you saw the dog, did it show any signs? I think you've answered this, but did it show any signs of Giardia when you saw it?
No.
And the day that they complained about the signs of Giardia, was that the day they also told you that they were going elsewhere and going to sue you?
It's 2
Yes.
o'clock.
Okay. Now, what do you want to say about your claim against them?
I just filed a counterclaim to cover some of the costs associated with my staff time that was put into drafting their records, time away from clients, which is during this proceeding, and my staff that's going to be there at this time until I get back.
All right. Thank you both parties. First of all, I haven't seen any justification for the $4,000. I understand that sentimentally the dog is, as you said, priceless, like a child, but I can't make the doctor give you $4,000 without knowing why those are your damages, other than sentimental. So I'm not going to grant the Beckman's petition. And frankly, I'm not going to grant the Dr. Sundgren's petition either. I understand you may have put in more costs than are in the normal course of business. And I do know business records can be very expensive. But have you given them just a simple bill for the cost of production of the documents?
No.
Okay. Well, I think that would be the better approach to just give them a bill for the costs of production, but as far as lost staff wages and time here to testify, I'm not granting that. So I'm denying both claims at this time. But you can appeal my decision. You have up to 14 days each side to appeal that decision. So you may go at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. We're in recess on Beckman versus Sundgren.
Your Honor, do either of us have to pay, do I need to go and pay court costs for this? I mean, what do I need to do?
You're each responsible for your own court costs.
Okay.
Okay, you may.
All righty, thank you.
You're welcome, and we will take up